An absolutely picture-perfect, gorgeous Sunday afternoon in Huntington brings us Sunbelt women's soccer action as the Appalachian State Mountaineers and their high-powered offense make the trip to Huntington to take on the Marshall Thundering Herd. Coach Rafa Samoy's team fresh off a 3-3 draw just a few days ago against the Southern Miss Golden Eagles. Welcome into the press box. Bobby Eddings joined alongside by James Collier for today's match. As these two teams come in, James, and you really look at kind of what these teams feature, and what we're going to see throughout this entire match is a high-powered offense from App State going against keepers, and then on the other side, for Marshall, Bailey Fisher going up against that App State defense as well. Just really kind of an interesting stylistic matchup we have.
You're going to see it as you look at the keepers here, Sarah Womack and Alexa Vogelmuth. Two solid keepers on both ends, and they're going to be pushed because of the pressure you're going to see up top. Bailey Fisher from Marshall, Izzy Wood from App State. And it's which one can get that first equalizer in the first part of the game. And it really changes what you do. A lot of the pressure from the defensive back line has to help out the keeps this afternoon as well.
You get a look at Wolgamuth and Womack, just kind of what these two keepers have done this year. Womack 5-3-4, Wolgamuth 3-4-3. Of course, Wolgamuth has started every game for Marshall this year with the exception of one. Womack on the other side has started every game in net for the Mountaineers. And really one thing that's key, as we've always see, is the communication from that back line. How do you communicate with your back line of defense in order to really mark up on those defenders, especially the caliber of Wood and Fisher, what those two players possess in terms of offensive talent?
You have to mark those every place they're on the field, and that's something that I think a lot of that goes into your center backs. They have to be able to identify and locate those players. You lose either one of those players, it's a ball in the net.
It's going to be a couple minutes till we get set for action here in Huntington, but a pretty good crowd on hand. Marshall women's soccer #1 in the Sun Belt Conference in attendance, and that's going to be on showcase again today. We're going to step aside for a break. We'll be back with more Marshall women's soccer on ESPN+.
A moment. A lot can happen in a moment. It can be fast-paced, or time can stand still. Up in the air, down in the trenches. High-tech, old school. High energy, low-key. Lend a hand. Learn to let go. Find your people and your purpose. We meet the moment. We are Marshall.
Who says that business isn't personal? That what we do should be separate from who we are? At Encova Insurance, we do things differently. Our agents partner with small businesses to get to the heart of what matters. Because we're in the peace of mind business, and we take that very personally with auto, home, and business insurance. At Encova, we're ready for what's next.
Ladies and gentlemen, the power of a word. The anticipation, the adrenaline, the hair on the back of their necks rising. The crowd, the score rising. Greatness rising, the sun rising. Sometimes a word is best left all by itself. The Sun Belt Conference, 14 universities, 10 states, rising.
Pets are really important for keeping your emotions and keeping everything in check.
A moment. A lot can happen in a moment. It can be fast-paced, or time can stand still. Up in the air, down in the trenches. High-tech, old school. High energy, low-key. Lend a hand. Learn to let go. Find your people and your purpose. We meet the moment. We are Marshall.
Who says that business isn't personal? That what we do should be separate from who we are? At Encova Insurance, we do things differently. Our agents partner with small businesses to get to the heart of what matters. Because we're in the peace of mind business, and we take that very personally with auto, home, and business insurance. At Encova, we're ready for what's next.
And welcome back out to Hoops Family Field, Veterans Memorial Soccer Complex. Starting lineups are complete on the pitch as we get set for action. App State at 5-3-4, 2-0-2 in conference, fresh off a 2-2 draw against Coastal Carolina a few days ago. Marshall on the other side, 3-5-3, 1-2-2 in conference, off of a 3-3 draw itself against the Southern Miss Golden Eagles. Let's get a quick look at your starting lineups brought to you by your Tri-State Ford dealers. As we'll take a look at the starting lineups for Marshall first. Kaiza Ekstrom and Angel Fowler, your two center backs for the Thundering Herd. Brooklyn McComas, who had a goal against Southern Miss a few days ago, and Madison Towns will be your two wing backs. Of course, the Marshall midfield, Ami Kamori, Luisa Travasos, Bailey Fisher, and Leah Mish. Fisher, the Marshall goal scorer, another goal scorer for Marshall, 31 shots on the year for the junior from Hurricane. And in the attacking mode, Ebony Leckie and Eladi Meto for the Thundering Herd will round out the 11. Actually, excuse me, rounding out the 11 is Alexis Wolgemuth, the goalkeeper, who will be up to the test today against an Appalachian State offensive attack that is a very, very good side. It's led by Izzy Wood. 4.5 shots per game for Izzy Wood. She's got 7 goals in the last 7 games. She's got 8 this season. The single-season program record for App State is 11. Stephanie Barbosa also in the starting lineup, 3 assists in the last 5 matches. Olivia Simon will be out there. She had a hat trick against Marshall last year. Sarah Witterick, Ella Hoover, the Granville, Ohio native, Ellie Garrison, who could really probably be pushing for freshman All-American honors, will also be in the midfield for App State. Along the back, Shannon Studer, Alicia Ambrosio, Mumu Gisasola, and Sydney Snowden. And in net for App State is the redshirt freshman, Sarah Womack. It is We Are Herd Strong and Kick Out Cancer Day today. As you go look at Alexis Wolgemuth donning the pink keeper's uniform, both she and a couple of her teammates escorted out some cancer survivors onto the pitch pregame. Just another way that Marshall has engaged this community, and James really has led further to Marshall being successful in garnering that top attendance mark in the entire Sun Belt Conference right now.
One of the things we talked about there at the Open is this team, it's always got people in the seats, whether it's the men or the women. And again, another great afternoon here. Beautiful afternoon for soccer. Weather's very comfortable. Sun, no worries with rain or any storms whatsoever. And of course, that's always been in the back of the mind of this App State team who was devastated with Hurricane Helene. And our thoughts and prayers certainly go out to all those in that affected community.
Yeah, of course, Appalachian State will resume classes on Wednesday this week, the 16th, as that was just recently announced down in Boone. And in talking with Appalachian State head coach Amy Haywood, just kind of asked, like, how's everything been going? She said, look, she said the hardest part for them has just been the mental load that it's created. She said our attitude about what to expect could have been better, but she said imagine going to a soccer match, but also thinking, or a soccer practice, in the back of your mind thinking, am I going to have internet when I get home? Am I going to have power when I get home? What am I going home to today? Just trying to figure that out. She said the mental load's just been a lot. Amy Haywood, 20, 18, and 11. She's in her third year at App State, 9, 6, and 3 last year. She's already coached in 2 NCAA tournaments in her time, both at Queens College, which is where App State did have to play one of its most recent matches after Hurricane Helene, and also as a head coach at Ohio Dominican as well. That's a school just right beside the Columbus International Airport. So there's Marshall building from the back early. Hurd scored 3 goals in that match against Southern Miss as the Hurd tries to come up the near side and does. Connects a couple passes now to the feet of Bailey Fisher. Fisher, 31 shots on the year for Marshall. Second on the team for the Hurd is just 8, as Fisher gets tripped up and creates a free kick opportunity.
And you could see him as soon as the ball went toward Fisher. App State had 1 marked and immediately 2 on, trying to take out any lanes that she has, 1 to attack with the net or pull a long ball from the shot. Marshall kicking into the face of the wind here this afternoon, a breezy afternoon here in Huntington.
So Leah Mischel set up the free kick. App State gave up a free kick goal with 2 minutes to go against Coastal Carolina. Have a draw on that one. Ball headed away by App State, though, and then the Mountaineers trying to go quickly the other direction. Marshall retreating defensively all the way back to Madison Towns, and Towns will play it back to the foot of Wolgemuth. Marshall plays stylistically very similar to what Coastal Carolina played against the Mountaineers just a couple days ago, as both teams try to build from the back. It's an Appalachian State team we talked about, just so good offensively. Over 1.5 goals per game on the year. Just one of the better offensive teams throughout the entire Sun Belt Conference.
And one of the things you have to be so cautious about when you're trying to build from the back, when you have a striker like an Izzy Wood, the error margin is very slim. You make the wrong pass, you miss an assignment of being somewhere you're supposed to be, and it's an interception, and it's a 1v1 versus the goalie.
Far side throw coming up for App State, just about a minute 55, into the match. Ball headed out by the Thundering Herd, creates another throw for the Mountaineers.
I think you're going to see 2 teams today be very patient early on. Let the first half of the game really come to them, see what can play out. And then as we get into that 15-minute down, that's when things really ratchet up. And I think it's what you see from the way these 2 style of plays go.
Ami Kamori, she also had a goal for Marshall against Southern Miss. Ball taken away from Travasos from behind and creates an opportunity for the Mountaineers. Mountaineers certainly drop a couple players back. It's almost like 4 in an attacking position at all times. It's almost a 3-3-4 at the moment. Now they'll drop into more of a standard 4-3-3 necessarily, but App State quickly on the attack.
Really doing a good job finding feet all the way up the side.
Barbosa tries to cross, deflected away by Marshall. Ellie Garrison, the freshman, bouncing shot that goes right into the hands of Wolgemuth. As the freshman Garrison, who we'll talk about a lot today, puts a little bit of pressure on Wolgemuth, but the junior keeper up to the task and just picks it up and tries to get Marshall started. Mentioned Garrison a little bit, 230 career goals. She was the North Carolina Golden Boot winner last year. She scored 96 goals last season. 96.
No, not as a career. 96 in a season.
1 season last year. That's after 77 the year prior. I have a feeling that probably gets mentioned a lot during App State broadcasts. And again, that's if you play a 20-game season or a 25-game season, that's right around 4 a game, 4 a match. Just an incredible number for Garrison. The 5'8" freshman out of Trinity, North Carolina, asked head coach Amy Haywood about her, and she said, and I quote, "She's just really stinking good."
Yeah, that's a way to sum it up.
Free kick created now for Marshall, as Fowler will take it and send it away. And it goes off the head of the back line of App State. Bouncing around to a couple players. Travasos tries to play it in. Lecky chests it down as the flag goes up far side for an offside.
Marshall's done a really good job controlling the ball out of the air, especially turning it downfield off the head. And I think it's something that's going to be huge, getting the ball turned back toward where you can get those runouts and, more importantly, keep the ball down around the feet of Bailey Fisher.
Ball sent downfield, headed out of the air by Aaliyah Mish. Mish has really played well lately for the Thundering Herd as Marshall flicks on for Lecky. Lecky trying to get around the keeper. Ball goes past the keeper. Snowden, though, right there. Good job by Sydney Snowden to be there on the defense, but Marshall creating some chances early.
And there's a great example of how important that back line of the defense is and an extension of the goal, as Womack comes out, kind of gets beat, and Marshall couldn't find the ball on the backside, and App State able to turn that one away.
Yeah, ball got past Womack. She's not scared to be aggressive along that back line. You look, she's off camera here, but if you look exactly where she's playing out past the 18-yard box right now. Marshall has gone from distance here a couple times recently, most notably Ami Kamori in the last match against Southern Miss, as she got a goal from outside the 18. Does the Herd look at that as an opportunity in this match that'll be seen as we move throughout the entire afternoon?
Really good idea there, trying to push it up the right side here to Barbosa, but just too stiff and didn't give her a chance to make a run down to the corner to cross.
Marshall defense playing pretty well thus far against this high-powered Appalachian State offense. It's a Mountaineer side that has not lost since September 8th, 3-0-2 since then. That loss coming in a 4-1 decision against Davidson. After a 9-6-3 run last season, App State had 8 shutouts last year in 2023.
You look at their 5-game winning streak, longest since 2013. 6 games is back in 2012. The program best 7 in 05 and 07. That was back when the program started up.
Far side, Marshall dispossessed. Lecky still trying to fight, can't quite get to it. Now App State will play some possession and build from the back itself, but Meto not letting App State do so comfortably, as the Mountaineers will work it all the way back into the hands of Womack. Ball sent down the pitch. Garrison header on to the near side for Barbosa. That's a great job by Ellie Garrison. Trying to cross over Barbosa, now chipping it into the box, headed away by the Thundering Herd. That was Kaisa Ekstrom there for Marshall.
Really good ball from midfield down in the corner for Barbosa to give that turn.
Meto tries to switch fields and will for Bailey Fisher. Fisher now on the counterattack for Marshall. Fisher trying to create some opportunity and will inside the 18. Fisher crosses, looking for Lecky just a little bit too far. And a great opportunity for Marshall. Fisher creating the chance for the Herd. Now Lecky's going to try and possess in the corner and will, and that's just a smart play by Ebony Lecky, playing it off the defender.
Yeah, really good job here, turning that one across the face of the 6 and just a little bit too far out past the legs to be able to turn that one back across. But then a very heads-up play in the corner. Settle, get the player to pull up to where you can kick off and get that corner kick.
You almost wonder if Lecky had that chance again. Does she slide and just try and get any type of a foot on that for a shot? But nonetheless, a really smart play in the corner by her to play it off a defender and create the corner now for Marshall, as Leah Misch will go to the corner. The freshman from Germany will take it. Marshall will go short corner for Ami Kamori. Kamori chips it into the box right there at home, and putting the shot on goal is Kaisa Ekstrom, and Marshall gets the early goal. It's Kaisa Ekstrom's first goal in a Thundering Herd uniform, and the Herd has the advantage 1-0 with 37:11 to go in the first half.
Beautiful set piece there, working the short corner of the low cross, crossing ball down inside the 6 with the one-timer, the touch. Beautiful finesse there at the front post, and puts it in for the goal.
Misch on the corner, the short corner to Kamori. Kamori sends it on, and Ekstrom right there, Johnny on the spot inside the 6, and Marshall gets the early goal. You look, there's Ekstrom charging in, right foot, and right by Ambrosio, who just could not react in time, slots it into the post, and Marshall starts off hot.
Not only the 18th goal that Womack's given up this season, but just, again, the set piece was perfectly executed.
Right in the center of the pitch, Travasos goes down, and a card will be given to Ellie Garrison, the freshman. So Garrison picks up the card as Travasos goes down. And, you know, it's important to note, App State this year 0-2-1 when its opponent scores first.
And another thing, too, is App State has never won here in Huntington. So now free kick coming up for the Thundering Herd. You got to think, too, how much that sets up what you want to do defensively now by taking away Izzy Wood, of knowing that she's on the loose at any given time for a chance for an equalizer, but knowing that you've got that 1-goal lead.
Yeah, you haven't really seen Wood get a touch on the ball quite yet. Mezzo turns on a defender far side. Mezzo streaking towards the inline, trying to cross, and great defense in the corner. But Marshall will create a corner kick. Sydney Snowden slowing down Mezzo, but nonetheless, Marshall off to a really fast start right now.
Great job there getting the same corner. Now you see what Marshall can build off of after the last quarter kick about a minute ago. Do they go short quarter again, or do you try to go across and bend something toward the back post and get a crasher down the back?
You got Mish taking it once again. She's pretty much taken, when she's on the pitch, she's pretty much taken all of Marshall's free kicks. She'll do so here, sends it in, top of the 6, and just goes a little far for anybody to get too much of a touch on it. Now Madison Towns plays it back in towards the 18. Marshall retreating defensively, and McComish just sends it out far side. Nope, Mish will intercept and pick it off and keep Marshall with possession. Again, this is a Marshall side that if it can connect 1, 2, 3 passes, that's when it becomes dangerous. It's the same thing that Coach Haywood on the App State side said as well. Said, look, he said, we just want to avoid double turnovers. If we want to connect, we can connect our first pass, second pass. We're in really good shape. He said, when we can't do that, that's when we struggle at times.
Yeah, because it does you no good to work from the back to get it to midfield just to turn it back over, because then you just wasted all of that effort to get it in a point to where you can make an attack.
Marshall just toying with a little bit, but it's also where it's become so important. And if you watch both the Marshall men's side and women's side that play practically the same, well, I'm sure there are some slight differences from Coach Rafa Samoy's style and Chris Grassie's style, but it becomes so important, the why behind, if you want to place a pass on a left foot as opposed to a right foot, if it's off just a touch, why that is so important. And I think, look, you talk about, and this is what Rafa's talked to me about a couple times, is that, you know, you're taking players as Marshall on the attack now. Lecky top of the 18. Lecky into the box for Kamori. Kamori, flag goes up far side as Womack comes out and thwarts the effort from Komori. Great run by her, but the flag was up for offside.
And a really aggressive play there by Womack to come off of her line and really attack that ball, and no hesitation. That's what you like to see in a goalkeeper if they do make that attack.
Very smart from Komori as well. You saw 3 defenders kind of sagging towards the near side towards Bailey Fisher. I think Komori saw that as well, created a hole for herself far side.
And you have to understand that as a player with the ball at your feet, that Fisher is going to draw that attention. There are going to be open lanes. You have to see those lanes before they get there and take those, and that was a great example.
1-0 our score. Kaisa Ekstrom with the goal for Marshall just a couple minutes ago. But what I was saying was that I think when Roth has talked to me about is that basically you've been taught one way to play soccer your entire life. You're really pushing forward, and kind of, you know, you want to push the ball towards the goal, and now all of a sudden you're taking a quote-unquote a chip out of the brain and installing a new one where you're saying, no, that's not what we want to do anymore. We want to possess slowly and build rather than try and almost blitz that back line.
And you see that happen so many times with the higher the level you go. It's all about possession. Possession is what creates opportunities. It's not just beating everybody with speed, because where you may have been the fastest player on the field on all the way through high school, now there are 11 other players on the field that are just as fast as you are.
Ball played up ahead. There's really the first touch we've seen from Izzy Wood today. As it's out on Marshall, it'll create a throw for the App State Mountaineers.
And one thing that I've noticed on the last ball that was possessed by App State on this end, Wood was just kind of hanging back when Marshall was trying to build from the back. The last time when it went back to Wogomuth, Wood was pushing up, trying to create a lane, trying to create something off of the foot quick.
Yeah, just like Ellie Garrison, when I asked Amy Haywood about Izzy Wood, I said, how good is she? She said, she's really stinking good.
And sometimes that's about the only way you could describe, just they're just good. Some players, they just have that it factor, and those two certainly have the it factor for the Mountaineers.
Ball thrown in, headed away, bouncing into the 18 though. Garrison trying to turn on Fowler. Fowler, just the veteran defender, shielding Garrison from the ball, and creates a goal kick now for Marshall. Just really good heads-up play by the 5'5" junior from London, Angel Fowler, shielding away Ellie Garrison to set up that goal kick for the Herd.
And one thing I've been really impressed with so far with App State is how well they've controlled the ball and moved the ball with purpose off the header. They've been able to turn it downfield, get some runs, get some positions at feet, and that's been very important.
Yeah, very dangerous team. Just watching that Coastal Carolina match the other day, very dangerous team. Once it gets just right around that 18-yard box, just the opportunities it can create for itself. Wogomuth clears it up ahead for Lecky. Bouncing ball clears Lecky's head, but there's Meto right behind her. Meto to Kamori. Kamori chips it on to Lecky. Lecky streaking towards the top of the 18. Got a defender running on. She can play the negative ball if she wants. Instead, she'll crosses off of Snowden, a missed touch. And that creates another corner. Third of the match now for Marshall.
Great find there in the center of the midfield stripe to just look to the right side to set up that run. And Marshall really doing a lot of work, working that right edge against App State thus far.
Marshall, one of the teams with the lowest amounts of corners in the conference. But already today, creating opportunities for itself. Actually, Marshall just 35 corners thus far this season through 11 matches. So you do the math, quick math, right? Just about a little bit over 3 a match. And Marshall already with its third of this one.
Yeah, 15 minutes in.
So Mish will take the corner for herself. Arm goes up, she chips it in, top of the 6. Womack is there and punches it away. Good job by Womack. Is now Izzy Wood going quickly on the counter. Travasos giving chase, shoulder to shoulder. Travasos catches up, but it's passed across to the top of the 8 now for Barbosa. Barbosa top of the box. Kamori retreating. App State takes a shot and it clears the net. Very creative counterattack for App State as Izzy Wood and Barbosa, just kind of a two-man show that time, creating the opportunity. But Marshall retreating defensively as well.
And a lot of that started because of the way that Womack come out with the punch. She punched that ball out to the feet of Wood on that run and gave her an opportunity to go.
Kind of get a look at Izzy Wood there, playing pretty high just against this Marshall back line. Not going to let it get comfortable. Any mistouch by Marshall, she's going to go after. 15 minutes into the contest, 1-0 Marshall with the lead. App State has never won here in Huntington. Marshall has dominated the all-time series. 5-1-1 is the herd. The one win for App State coming last year in Boone. It was a match Marshall led 1-0 at the half. And then App State reeled off 5 second-half goals, including 3 in one half from Olivia Simon. She had just 4 goals all last year, but had 3 in that match. Mish plays it to Meto. Meto turns, tries to get an opening. Meto now takes a shot and deflected by a defender. And now Barbosa steps up. Town stepped up to her. And now App State moving the other direction. There's Izzy Wood. We've talked about her just creating opportunities for herself. App on the counterattack now. Wood runs it down before it goes across the inline. And ball is lost out near side. And it'll create a throw for the Mountaineers.
I think it's a missed opportunity by Wood. Slowing that one down, probably should have gone with the ball deflected out to get the corner. Instead, they're going to get a throw from the near side.
I've seen some slips early in this match already. Both sides play on turf, which is not what you see a lot of. But both of these teams play on turf on their home fields. Talking with Amy Haywood about that, she said, our turf maybe plays a little bit more true, as opposed to Marshall's turf is a little bit faster. But as their turf plays a little bit more similar to kind of what a grass surface does.
And that's a big difference to get used to because of one, the speed of the ball, the way it's going to play off of when it skips. And then the other two is your footing. Again, if you've got a faster surface, it's probably going to be a less gripping type of surface where it's not going to be maybe as thick.
One of the more beautiful days we've had here recently in Huntington. As you see the ball go across the inline on the throw, creates a goal kick for Marshall. Really no precipitation in the forecast. It is pretty windy, just considerably. When you talk about and you take a look at your screen and see right behind the Marshall defending goal there, just the trees whipping in the background. It is a pretty windy afternoon here in Huntington, just 10 to 15 mile an hour winds.
And an approaching cold front is what is the winds
basically blowing out the heat.
Yes.
To bring in highs in the mid-50s this week. Marshall football in action on Thursday at home. I think the high is 61 degrees that day. October is coming. Winter is coming, if you really want to go for a famous quote. Mish plays, just tried to draw Wood closer. And that's what Marshall wants to do. Marshall almost wants to be dangerous at times with its passing, is just draw defenders in, get you out of position. Borderline frustrates you defensively. Meto, good job defending that time by App State. But Marshall just wants you to be inconsistent and be frustrated with its consistency at times.
And that's the game of soccer, is just force the other team to make a mistake. And when you get that mistake that shows up, capitalize on that opportunity.
Ball bouncing around Travasos all the way back now for Ekstrom, the goal scorer for Marshall. Her first in a Marshall uniform. Ellie Garrison pressuring on Ekstrom that time. Creates the App State throw. Mountaineers go quickly into the corner. Barbosa. Barbosa crosses in across the face of the net. And McComas tries to clear. Now down to the foot of Wood and poked away by Leah Mish, who had dropped back into a defending posture inside the 18.
Barbosa had a perfect ball back post and no one crashed. Had that opportunity as Wogelmuth was pulled front post and had that wide opening on the backside.
And talking with Amy Haywood, she said, we've had opportunities in every match. She said, we just got to finish. Ball struck and hit on into the middle of the pitch and deflected away by Wogelmuth. What a save by Wogelmuth.
That ball looked like it had gone in the box and turned out.
Ball sent on, and Kamori tries to clear it. Now Marshall is having problems clearing it, and Fisher sends it up ahead near side. Gonna try and run it down, can't do so. Be honest, in live action, I didn't think Wogelmuth had a chance.
Yeah, that's what I said. It kind of shocked me when I saw the ball come out. It looked like it went in and turned out. And you saw there as Izzy Wood was kind of pointing, saying that ball was in.
Yeah, Wogelmuth just point blank range denied it. Ball thrown in. Travasos tries to get ahead on it and can't. And now Barbosa gets behind the Marshall back line. Can't run down possession though.
Izzy Wood won that one out of the air and actually turned it downfield. A great ball for her, but just too far out in front of Barbosa.
Oh, you can see now App State, just after conceding the early goal, putting some pressure on this Marshall back line. Marshall pretty much was the more aggressive team early, but now you're seeing the more aggression come from the other side.
And it was almost instantaneously. As soon as Marshall got the goal, that front line of App State really ratcheted up the offensive push every time the ball comes this direction.
Wogelmuth, of course, growing up in Lincolnton, North Carolina, just about 90 minutes from Boone. But also growing up about 90 minutes from Trinity, North Carolina, which where Ellie Garrison's from as well. So just same thing with Hickory, North Carolina, which where Izzy Wood is from. So you got to think Wogelmuth's got a lot of familiarity with a lot of these Appalachian State players. We talked earlier about the goal-scoring prowess in high school of Ellie Garrison. Well, Izzy Wood had 53 goals her senior year of high school. Then you go to the Marshall side, Bailey Fisher, her senior year, 66. So it's just the goal-scoring prowess on the field today. Obviously, none of those three have scored yet. Is paramount and could be paramount to this entire match. Kamori has the ball taken away from her from behind by Ella Hoover, the freshman. Ball played in the middle, just a mistouch by App State. And now Marshall on its own counter. Meto for Kamori. Marshall going to play it back to its center back, Kaisa Ekstrom.
Barbosa was trying to play a runner up to Wood in the middle there. And again, it was like what you were talking about. Need to play it to the left foot, played it to the right, and she was bending the wrong direction and couldn't get back to the ball.
Marshall with the goal from Kaisa Ekstrom. 2 shots, 1 on goal thus far. App State, same thing, 2 and 1 thus far in the match. Free kick for the Mountaineers in the center of the pitch as we tick down to about the halfway point in the first half.
A stiff wind at the back of App State on this ball, so an easy shot here to be able to put a ball down inside the 18.
Ambrosio will take it, making her 9th start of the year.
To put it in perspective, the wind started blowing the ball and Snowden had to back off to go kick.
Ambrosio sends it in, top of the 18, headed away by Marshall. Mountaineers will run it down. That's Sarah Witterich. And ball bouncing in and right to Wogelmuth. Witterich, a 5'3" senior from Mebane, North Carolina, does have some family in attendance today. I saw some Witterich jerseys floating around the crowd, as obviously these two schools know each other very well, just even before being in the Sun Belt together, back to the Southern Conference days. And you look at this App State starting lineup, just the amount of starters from the state of North Carolina. My quick math, 7 starters from the state of North Carolina as the ball sent out near side. Creates a throw for the Mountaineers. Ball sent in for Wood. Wood plays it to the middle, and Meto picks off the pass. Other starters for App State. You've got, so we're really going to test my math here. You've got 1 from Florida, 1 from Arizona, 1 from Ohio. So 8 starters from the state of North Carolina. Just really, and it's the smart thing. If you think back to, if you ever watched the 30 for 30, the U, what Howard Schnellenberger did when he was at Miami was he basically built a circle around the city of Miami and said, I'm going to get all these players. And you can see kind of that idea for Amy Haywood and her staff, just trying to get the best players throughout the North Carolina region as well.
And it's more important is that it allows you to focus your recruitment on those players because they're easy to see, they're easy to follow. And again, there's a lot of great talent that you can tell that comes from that little central area there with the players that they bring in.
But also it speaks to more than likely also the relationships you have with club teams in the area, those club coaches giving you some of its best talent as well, as Travasos plays it near side and it rolls behind Towns and out.
And you have to think how much club soccer over the past 10 years, 10, 15 years has really developed what we see both on the men and women's side at the collegiate level.
Olivia Simon will come out for App State. Kylie Swatowski will come. The center to Kamori, but nobody home behind her.
And by doing so, what that allows you to do is it puts you out there to get yourself exposed to what you need to be ready for when conference play rolls around. And it builds on that to where when you get into those games that matter the most, you're not being challenged for the first time in that type of environment.
Marshall, a little bit of miscommunication right now. Just a couple missteps by the herd. Kamori rolled one back behind her. Nobody was home. Towns just tried to play a ball forward. No one making a run to that position. Now Marshall gets it to Travasos. Nifty ball handling that time as Travasos pops it over a defender. Into the center for Lecky. Lecky back down the far side, Travasos. Travasos crosses and punched away again by Womack. Towns sprinting up, and a foul is going to be called on Madison Towns, sprinting towards the ball. And she collided that time with Barbosa as the Marshall bench has some questions.
And the officials are saying that she initiated the contact as she got there. And I don't know, she looked like she was past the Barbosa when the play happened. And
Towns down behind the play, getting stretched out by Lecky. It was close either way, as Towns, I think, was sprinting to try and just give Marshall another opportunity. But nonetheless, great job by Womack. Again, being aggressive, coming off that line and punching that out of the air and punching it away to slow down that Marshall attack. You take a look. The contact, I think, happened right before that. But it was close either way. So foul called on Towns. That's foul number 3 on Marshall. 2 on App State thus far in the match. Marshall with the lead, 1-0. Kaisa Ekstrom with the goal. Off of the assist from Ami Kamori and Leah Mish. Up ahead, Fisher out of the air. Travasos tries to win it. But again, that was a good run for Marshall. We talked about Travasos just a second ago. Good run for her. Played it to Meto and back to Travasos down the far side just to give the Herd a chance. Ball towards the corner. Wood tries to win it. That's an impressive play by Izzy Wood. Just puts the leg around the body of Fowler, pops it up off of Fowler's face, and sends it out, creating a corner kick now for the Mountaineers. That is just a really heads-up play.
That shows you the ball control that she possesses with her feet. Perfect positioning there.
Corner taken for App State. Sends it across. Ball headed down, bouncing around, and into the air to Fisher. Or excuse me, to Wolgamuth. Excuse me. Witterich was the one taking the corner from the near side. Marshall, this is where Marshall has to be careful, kind of playing with the round back in front of its own net. Hurd sends it up ahead, nobody home, and now App State will do something very similar.
This has got to feel like, again, you're playing against a mirror. We're watching almost from half midfield back and forth. It's both teams doing exactly the same thing. Very patient, building from the back, trying to get something at midfield that they can get a run out to their wings. And Marshall's done a really good job not forcing the issue toward Bailey Fisher, who's kept at least one, sometimes 2 people within her vicinity. You have to think, though, you keep building right, keep building right. Do you find those times where you get an opportunity to swing it left quickly and catch Fisher on a run? And
we'll talk about it throughout the broadcast, but this is an important stretch for Marshall, too. Of course, this App State side, one of 3 Sun Belt teams that remain unbeaten, 5-match unbeaten streak, as James talked about. But after this match, Marshall takes on Coastal Carolina, which plays pretty much exactly like it does, as another foul is called on Madison Towns. Plays a Coastal Carolina team that pretty much plays exactly like it does. Then it takes on ODU on the road, a very good ODU side, as you see Towns that time colliding with, couldn't quite catch the number. And then the Herd plays JMU, who's really, really good. A really good start to the year for JMU, 6-3-3. And a Louisiana side who's always been a formidable foe in the Sun Belt. So just, it's really important for Marshall to try and get some momentum moving forward. Fisher drilling in the near side, tries to play it off a defender, and now she picks the ball right back up where she left off, and Fisher's got some room. Fisher tries to chip it up ahead for Meto, and just a mistouch. And a roll all the way to the feet of Womack.
And the one thing that she was trying to do with that ball, she had that spin. She tried to chip it to get the backspin on it to kind of back it up to allow her runner to get out in front. Just got just a little bit too much on it.
Ball played on. Ekstrom heads it out of the air for Mish, and Mish tries to clear to the far side. App State similar as well. It's an App State side. A couple matches coming up. JMU, who is leading the East Division right now, and that's the next match for App. Arkansas State and Troy, very winnable games. Troy has yet to, Troy and Arkansas State, neither one has won a conference match yet. As you get a look at Ellie Garrison streaking towards the top of the 18, tripped up right at the top of the 18. And it'll create a free kick opportunity, a very dangerous free kick opportunity as well for the Mountaineers.
Just outside the halo when she gets tangled up, going between 2 players, kind of looking like battling for the same piece of real estate.
That'll set up a free kick now. But to finish out that thought, Arkansas State and Troy, very winnable for App State. Texas State, who this Marshall team knows well after that. And then Old Dominion, again, a very formidable side after that. So both these teams looking to just pick up 3 points today as it progresses throughout the Sun Belt Conference schedule. Couple players standing around the ball for App State before the free kick. Marshall, a 6-person wall. Approaching, sending it in, and deflected away. That was Izzy Wood who approached, and again, creates another corner for the Mountaineers. So still, Marshall not out of danger quite yet.
And you see the deke opportunity there, the fake, and then trying to get Wood on the backside there to chip across the top, kind of getting, what you're looking for there is you're trying to get the wall up to where they come down, and then the second player comes through with the wall still firmly on the ground and chip over top of their head.
Swatowski will take it from the corner. Freshman's already got 2 assists on the year. Arms go up, chips it in, a long chip to the far side as we run down by Witterich. Witterich far side, trying to come back in towards the 18, plays it back now for Snowden. Snowden has it taken away now by Leah Mish. Mish and Snowden, or it's McComas, I think, far side, as McComas and Snowden competing with one another.
We were talking about how high that App State's been playing. Womack's all the way up near midfield. Every other player wearing yellow across the midfield stripe, trying to really pack it in here.
Ball played in, beyond a couple heads, and rolls across the inline. Goal kick now for Marshall.
App State's number 27 is entering for number 15, and 20 is entering for
Goal kick opportunity now for Marshall with 11:13 to go in the first half. Kaisa Ekstrom on the goal for the Thundering Herd as a couple subs come on for Appalachian State.
And I think if Marshall can get this to the half up 1-0, especially with the way that it's possessed the ball, I think Marshall's possession has been key thus far of not giving up opportunities for Appalachian State to build with runs from midfield. All the runs they've had to build with has had to come from the back line, and a lot of those have come off of balls that Marshall's worked into the box that has been started from Womack.
When you talk about these two sides, very similar to the last match they played. App State was up 2-1, gave up the equalizer to Coastal Carolina with 2 minutes to go. Marshall was up 3-1 and conceded 2 goals to Southern Miss in the last 10 minutes of that match. And really, I think what we've seen today is Marshall has come out a lot stronger out of that adverse situation that it faced a couple nights ago.
Well, and it so much helps when you get that first ball in the back of the net. You're playing with the lead. Now you're playing to where you can be the aggressor. You can force the other team to have to push the issue. You can settle in, play the game that you want to play, and don't have to be pushing when you're the one trailing. And I think that's big for Marshall, especially, like you said, having the goal that comes up very late that changes the outcome.
Meto tried to get around a defender, can't do so, and now Wood makes a move, and Fowler steps up and takes it away. Now Komori just continuing to possess the St. Bonaventure transfer, turns on a defender, just trying to create an opportunity for Marshall. Fisher towards the middle of the pitch, has it taken away by Kroboff. App State playing the advantage now for Izzy Wood down the near side. Wood gets some opportunity, missteps up, Wood keeps possession. Wood crosses in, one touch. Swatowski tried to get a touch. Marshall defenders were there. App State creating some opportunities, but have not been able to find home yet.
Love the patience there by Izzy Wood to turn that one back inside and take it across the face of the 6. Tried to get a touch there on the left foot as it stepped through, but Marshall's center back was there just enough to deflect it away.
Ball high in the air. Meto tries to win it out. Just plays the ball down the far side. Lecky's going to give chase and runs into Snowden. And a foul's going to be called on Ebony Lecky. That'll be foul call number 6 on Marshall. Or number 7, excuse me. Yeah, Lecky just kind of crashed into Snowden that time. As now Meto goes down right near midfield. And training staff will have to come on and take a look at her. 8:47 to go in the first half. Marshall with the 1-0 lead. Statistically, Marshall with 2 shots, 1 on goal. The goal scorer, obviously, the goal scored by Kaisa Ekstrom. The other shot came from Meto, who you see down on the pitch. App State on the other side, 3 shots, 1 on goal. And just as we kind of expected, James, Izzy Wood, 2 shots so far in the match. She averages 4.5 per match. She's put her stamp at times on this match, but I don't think we've really seen necessarily a dangerous opportunity, with the exception, I guess, right inside the 6, whenever Wolgamuth made the stop there.
Yeah, you're looking at the player that is 11th in the nation in shots on goals per game, 34th in goals scored. She scored 7 goals in her last 7 games, and Marshall has really kept her in check. And I think that's the big thing, is that all of the outside of the one ball that was down inside, her shots have been from wide, not point blank in between the frame. And I think that's huge. Make her have to bend balls. Don't give her those direct lines to try to go at the box.
Free kick opportunity now for Womack. Now the question is, with a player like Izzy Wood, how long can you contain her? Ball bouncing around to Switowski. Switowski just outside the 18, going up against Mish. Great defending by Mish. Switowski falls on the ball, keeps possession, tries to play it in, and Ekstrom sends it away. Marshall trying to keep it in, and McComas tried to clear, couldn't do so. Creates a corner now for Appalachian State, and Leah Mish is down for Marshall. You can see that right knee is already heavily taped. As the training staff, Hannah Edge, the trainer, will have to come on and take a look at Leah Mish, the freshman. In her 12th game today, her 10th start.
And she's been huge in the first half here, delivering the corner kick that started the run for Marshall to get the first goal, and has had a couple of good corners that have set up looks at the goal for Marshall.
You take a look, the slide tackle, she basically knocked knees.
Yeah, that was knee on
with
knee.
The right leg of Switowski. She made the stop, tried to get back up, and I think went right back down right after that. I mean, nonetheless, the tackle was superb if you're a Marshall fan. Marshall, as you see, with a couple substitutions going to come on, or at least one substitution. That's Chavez. Maria Chavez will come on in just a moment, as Mish will limp off. You can see favoring that right knee. Rafa Samoys signals down to have one of his other players check on. Looks like, get an idea here in just a minute in terms of the number. Looks like Riley McKinney, I believe. She forgot something though. I know obviously from when we were kids that shin guards have become smaller and smaller, but I was looking down there and I saw the socks pretty much down at the ankles. Was thinking there's no way. Well, she forgot to put them in.
Yeah, it's the new thing is the shin guards. They used to, they were the high socks.
Sorry, that's Larissa. Sorry, Larissa Osorio, not McKinney. That's Larissa Osorio coming on.
But the shin guards used to be, you wore them in. They were built-in straps around the calves and everything. Now they're just the slide-ins. Yeah, you just open the sock up, slide it down in there. And you see so many times players will make a kick and all of a sudden a piece goes flying out. It's the shin guard. They'll stop, slide it back in, we play on. But
ball sent in. Wolgamuth punches away. Marshall clears it off the inline. Not out of danger yet, though. Ball bouncing around inside the 18, and okay, so I guess they did say it went across the inline.
Yeah, so the far side official was with the flag up, initiating the ball was across the line, so corner kick, App State.
So here we go again. Deja vu all over again. Ball chipped in, high in the air. There's Wolgamuth, tries to punch it away, and now it is punched away by the Herd, at least temporarily. Ball sent in, and Wood gets a head on it right into the bouncing, waiting arms of Alexis Wolgamuth.
Perfect ball there from Izzy Wood as she turned it down to the net and got a really good kick toward the net, but Wolgamuth read it perfectly and sports it away.
One thing, just in watching some of these set pieces, Marshall is very physical in the box with Izzy Wood. Lecky up ahead and tried to play a through ball to Meto, and it's turned away by the Thundering Herd, by App State. Mountaineers try and go on the counter for Barbosa.
And one of the things I was watching there on that corner was how Marshall was defending Wood. Marshall just basically playing in tow, staying behind her so that if she does go up for that header, you're kind of almost playing defense from behind it. Don't give her a good line to turn down. But it was basically step for step as soon as she got inside the 18.
Free kick now for the Herd with 6:45 to go in the first half. Ball sent up ahead, right to the feet of Fisher. Fisher tried to deaden the ball, and now just trying to try and win it along the edge, and Will plays it on to Towns. Towns just outside the 18 tries to cross up on her defender, and instead Madison Towns plays it off of Shannon Studer, and that creates a corner kick now for the Thundering Herd, number 4. Marshall only averages 3 per match.
And it was so much patience there with Fisher. As she turned, had 2 on, just rolled the ball over, flips it back, and then gets the release. And I've been very, very impressed with how patient she has been with so much pressure working around her here this afternoon.
Regan Sturgill will come on now for Izzy Wood. Mish chips it in. There's Ekstrom right there off the crossbar, tipped by Womack as Ekstrom was looking for the brace.
Tried to go top shelf with the header and just a bit too high.
Marshall still possessing, chipped into the box. Lecky heads it towards net. Coming out to the top of the 6 is Womack, and here goes App State the other way. We've seen this counterattack be productive for the Mountaineers. Barbosa dribbles back to the center of the pitch, tries to cross, and will be able to do so. There's Switowski far side. You can see the amount of App State players pushing forward. Switowski dribbling towards the top of the, dribbling towards the 18, and McComas turns her away. Now Lecky just trying to possess, can't do so before App State takes it right back. The Mountaineer counterattack has been super productive at times.
And when it wants to go quickly, it can. It's shown that.
Barbosa turning towards the middle of the pitch. App State tries to work it out, and Sturgill a little bit too much of a touch that time.
Sturgill was trying to play it down in the corner on the run to get the crosser out of the right corner and just got too much to it.
Yeah, Jesus Sola couldn't quite control it with her head. Ball played in. You see Ekstrom got a head on it, and just a slightest of tips that time by Womack sends it off the crossbar. Marshall on the throw near side.
How big would that have been? Go in up 2-0.
Kaisa Ekstrom was all-region performer last year at Florida Tech. Marshall trying to turn it away. Chavez has it go off of her leg as she came in just a few moments ago for Fowler. As Maria Chavez back from participating with the Portugal national team. Just a really cool honor. Again, an honor that I don't think you truly probably understand. I mean, I'll probably never have an opportunity to represent a national team. I mean, I think I'm past my prime at this point. But nonetheless, I think you never truly understand probably what that national team honor is like until you're wearing those colors.
Yeah, that's something is like you're playing for your country and an opportunity to go back to your roots and do something supportive of that nature. And I think especially with soccer being such an international flavor of game, that is, like you said, is something you just don't understand.
Meto creating a chance, crosses it for Marshall into the box, and Kamori was there being shielded by a defender, couldn't quite get a shot. Meto creating some opportunities for Marshall, sends a ball into the box, off of a couple heads, played on. Fisher tries to get a shot on goal from the top of the 18. And right now, Rafa Samoys and coaching staff is loving the pressure that the top of his offensive attack is putting on this back line for App State.
From the far right corner of the 18 all the way until the ball found its way across to Fisher, Marshall got feet on ball to get it turned toward the goal.
Official will stop the clock for a moment. I think, actually, I'm not going to guess. I didn't quite catch what the stop clock there momentarily was for. Ball played to Kamori inside the 18 and cleared away by App State with 2:38 to go in the first half. As Osorio, just a little shove in the back of Sturgill that time. Draws the foul, the 8th foul on Marshall. And the Mountaineers will have a free kick with just under 2.5 minutes to play in the first half, trailing 1-0. Take a look again. Osorio just, you extend the arms. I don't think that the extended arms really had much of an effect.
Arms go out, foul goes out.
But you extend the arms, and that's what's going to happen. Ball sent into the 18, off of a Marshall head, and into the waiting arms of Alexis Wolgemuth. 4 shots aside, 2 on goal. The only difference being that Marshall gets the goal from Kaisa Ekstrom early in the match, her first in a Marshall uniform. Sydney Stoden working at both far side. Been a pretty entertaining match. It's an App State team that definitely likes to press forward offensively. Marshall, of course, likes to build and build and build and have that slow build as it moves forward. And contrast of styles, but a very entertaining match early as well. Near side, Barbosa runs it down before it goes out, crosses it in, high in the air, off of a head that time, and again, Marshall defenders waiting right there around the attacker for Appalachian State, not allowing it to be a productive opportunity.
And to build on what you're talking about, the entertaining side of it, it's just watching the contrasting styles of how both have really relished in the way that they're making their attacks and setting things up, of one trying to build slowly, the other one trying to get the long runouts and the quick speed out in front to their forwards.
Under a minute to play, Meto with an opportunity now in the middle to Lecky. Lecky tries to send it in, now does press it up ahead to Meto. Meto is going to win it inside the box. Meto tries to get a shot, keeper's out, and the ball gets cleared away by the Mountaineers.
Second time in this game, the ball has gotten behind Womack, and Marshall could not finish.
Meto down again behind the play, and her speed on that far side has just created chances for Marshall. She's down inside the 6 as the official will come have a conversation with her, and the training staff will come out again to talk with Eladi Meto.
And again, one of the things we talked in the opening of the broadcast was how much the back line was going to be an extension of the goalkeeper today. And we've seen that on both ends, but how huge has it been? This could easily be 3-0 Marshall going into the locker room with two balls that's made its way past the goalkeeper for the App State Mountaineers, and someone was there to deflect it away, not give it a run toward the goal, and allow Marshall to still look for that extra goal.
Meto will walk off under her own power. She's felt the brunt of some physical play in this first half. But with 30 seconds to go, Marshall does have a throw from the far side. Hurd trying to create another opportunity here. Ball thrown in. Travasos tries to get around a defender. Ball deflected towards the end line. And it creates a goal kick now for Appalachian State with 20 seconds to play, and Meto will come back on. Womack with 12 seconds will approach, send it away high in the air. Marshall wins it out of the air and just kind of clears it towards its attacking third. App State not going to rest, and that will end the first half. 1-0 Marshall with the lead to end the first 45 minutes of action. Thundering Herd gets a goal from Kaisa Ekstrom, an assist from Ami Kamori and Leah Mish. And that's where we are. Kaisa Ekstrom, first Marshall goal, leaves us at 1-0 Marshall advantage at the half. Herd trying to find its second conference win of the year, trying to hand Appalachian State its first conference loss of the season. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. We'll recap the first half of action from here in Huntington. This is Sunbelt Women's Soccer on ESPN+.
Who just picked up Buffalo Wild Wings Go? The Hankster!
Hank!
What?
Jimmy already got B-Dubs Go.
Yeah, Jimmy already got B-Dubs Go. Jimmy already got B-Dubs Go?
Jimmy already got B-Dubs.
Okay, Jimmy already got B-Dubs Go delivered. But did he get 10 free boneless wings?
Yeah.
No!
All right, sandworms out of the basement and the furnace has been exercised. Another Progressive Home and Auto bundle fully protected from the unexpected.
Beetlejuice caused quite a ruckus, huh?
Jamie, don't say his name.
Beetlejuice?
Saying his name 3 times is how you summon him.
Right. What if I say other words in between? Does that restart it?
Don't overthink it.
Or what if I broke it up into 2 parts? Like someone said, what's your favorite bug? Beetle. What's your favorite morning beverage? Juice.
You're welcome.
Beetlejuice in theaters now.
I'm Jordan Heidema, and soccer is just one part of my story. Jordan outside of soccer is a little bit different than Jordan in soccer. I have moments where I can be silly, I have moments where I can be serious, and you definitely get a sneak peek into who I am with what I wear. Off field, I mean, like street style, baggy stuff. I don't think there's like a gender in clothes. Whatever you feel confident in, go rock it. TJ Maxx. Max what makes you, you.
Truth is, my schedule's pretty jam-packed these days. I've got school Monday through Friday, jujitsu on Thursdays, and library books I've got to get back by Friday. In my weekend, I've got 2 free birthday parties on Saturday, and Sunday, that's my me time. I am not willing to give that up.
How's that look?
Works for me.
Works for me.
Ready for action, nip it in the bud, we never relax, and outcasts and everlasting. But I know y'all wanted that 808, can you feel that BASS?
Under my feet, I feel the sky tumbling down.
Love the way you move. Introducing the all-new, reimagined Nissan Kicks.
Get ready for hosting at the Home Depot with free delivery on over 2 million items every day. So you can refresh your space before Santa or the family comes to town. Get holiday ready with savings at the Home Depot.
You get a look at a gorgeous day here in Huntington. Fans in attendance, Marshall fans, Appalachian State fans mixed in as well. At the half, Marshall leads Appalachian State 1-0. Kaisa Ekstrom with the goal for Marshall, her first in a Herd uniform, as that's been our only tally in the first. But it has not been a first half that is lacking in action, James. As we kind of talked about, this was an Appalachian State side that's got a high-powered offense going against the Marshall side that hasn't had trouble at times scoring goals. But nonetheless, the first half has been littered with highlights.
Yeah, without a doubt, App State has had some opportunities. They've kept Wogomuth busy back there. The biggest save of the game, though, right there, as Izzy Wood was point blank with Wogomuth, and somehow she turns that one away and really just is kept Wood off balance in this contest. She's got, in the first half, Wood with 3 shots, 2 on goal, but it's not been those opportunities for her to turn and strike. It's been deflections and not really those opportunities where she's been able to get a good look on frame.
Yeah, and you talk about Wogomuth on that one huge save that she did have. That was just throwing the left paw out there. And you're trying to defend this wide net, and to be able to do what she did, that just shows you the athleticism of Alexis Wogomuth. On the other side, there's the Marshall goal, the Kaisa Ekstrom tally that the Herd was able to get early, just sneaking it in to what would have been the far post. Marshall attacked really right after that. Kamori had an opportunity, was called offsides. Womack has been sensational, punching the ball out of the air multiple times. There's a punch up off of the crossbar. Creating opportunities is what Marshall's been able to do. But really, these two teams both have created a ton of opportunities for themselves in the entire first 45 minutes.
And we've seen a couple of times to where those punches from Womack has led to runs that's got the ball out to Wood on the outsides to be able to try to get a one-on-one. It's going to be interesting to see. That first 10 minutes is what's going to be the important thing. And I think it's what App State has asked to see. They've got to find a way to get an equalizer so they can get back into the way they want to play, because they're having to play to Marshall's tempo, which is really grinding this thing out.
1-0 Marshall with the lead at the half over Appalachian State. We'll come back in just a couple minutes as we'll continue to recap the first half of action from here in Huntington on ESPN+.
I'm Jordan Heidema, and soccer is just one part of my story. Jordan outside of soccer is a little bit different than Jordan in soccer. I have moments where I can be silly, I have moments where I can be serious, and you definitely get a sneak peek into who I am with what I wear. Off field, I mean, like street style, baggy stuff. I don't think there's like a gender in clothes. Whatever you feel confident in, go rock it. TJ Maxx. Maxx what makes you, you.
Honey?
But the gains are pumping.
Yeah, the market's closed.
Futures don't sleep in the after hours, bro.
Dad, is mommy a finance bro?
She switched careers to make money for your weddings.
Ooh, penny stocks are blowing up. Sweetie, grab your piggy bank. We're going all in. Let me ask you, for your wedding, do you want a gazebo in a river?
What's a gazebo?
Something that your mother always wanted and never got.
Or you could give these different investment options a shot.
The right money moves aren't as aggressive as you think.
I'm keeping the best.
Truth is, my schedule's pretty jam-packed these days. I've got school Monday through Friday, jujitsu on Thursdays, and library books I've got to get back by Friday. In my weekend, I've got 2. Wait, no, 3 birthday parties on Saturday. And Sunday, that's my me time. I am not willing to give that up.
How's that look?
Works for me.
Works for me.
You know the most exciting thing about life? It's how you can change it. How you can reinvent yourself. Take on new challenges. So go ahead, reimagine yourself. We did. Introducing the all-new reimagined Nissan Kicks.
At this very moment, toxic chemicals are endangering one of the most beautiful and fragile ecosystems on the planet. When you vape, you may be exposing your lungs to toxic chemicals. Are you polluting yourself?
Bobby Eddings and James Collier back out at Hoops Family Field, Veterans Memorial Soccer Complex. The Marshall women's soccer team with a 1-0 advantage over the Appalachian State Mountaineers. An early goal from Kaisa Ekstrom has the Thundering Herd with the lead. And in the first half, you kind of see some of the depth of this Sun Belt Conference. We've talked about it multiple times. We talked about James Madison really off to a hot start. Appalachian State, without a loss, you see the depth of this Sun Belt Conference in terms of what these two sides are up against right now.
Yeah, when you talk about college athletics, you're always talking about the blue bloods, and then you get into college soccer, both men and women's soccer, and you see a lot of that kind of drift away as you look at the Sun Belt standings all together. You see JMU there at 4-0-1, 6 wins. Texas State 7 wins, South Alabama ODU 8 wins, along with Louisiana Monroe. So it's not just the blue bloods that are there. The Sun Belt is one of those, both on both sides, men and women, and it really turns into just an absolute of a gauntlet of a conference to have to run through.
Yeah, you talk about Appalachian State and Marshall, just kind of some opportunities coming up for both of these sides. We talked about App State, the fact that the Mountaineers take on Arkansas State and Troy, who are near the bottom of the conference right now. Those are some opportunities for the Mountaineers to continue building wins on its side, getting more and more 3 points. For Marshall, takes on Coastal Carolina. That's a big match coming up for it as well. An opportunity to potentially get some points, because after that, Marshall's got Old Dominion, who's at the top, JMU, who's at the top, and Louisiana, who's always been a formidable side. When you get opportunity to get points, you've got to get them. So for a day like today for Marshall, with an early 1-0 advantage, you've got to take advantage of that.
Yeah, looking ahead, when you've got a Coastal that's sitting there right above you and you've got an opportunity here to steal away 3 points, that's like robbing the bank. So that is, I think, something that Marshall looks at going in this final 45 is it has to find a way to continue. Don't give it up. And again, a draw, you get 1 point, but today that would feel like a loss, especially with the opportunities you've created for yourself in the first 45.
You know, I think if you would ask this Marshall side, they would tell you they should have had 3 points against Southern Miss the other day. Same thing for Appalachian State against Coastal when it drew on just a few days ago. You get a look at what the Sun Belt Conference bracket would look like right now if the season ended today, kind of who would be where. And again, it stacks up. You've got James Madison. You've got all these teams that these two sides still have to face coming up. And if you can continue to push that positive momentum, it's such an amazing thing what momentum can do for you as you move throughout a season or throughout a match.
And the first one that jumps off at me right there, number 8 Coastal. That's Marshall's next opponent looking up. So you've got everything is there in front of you for the taking. So you have to be most important, focused on here, getting those 3 points, and then try to go get something with Coastal as it moves forward.
And conversely, who's the next opponent for this Appalachian State team? James Madison. That's currently the 1 seed as the Dukes continue to be successful, to be honest with you, in every Sun Belt Conference sport right now. It seems like JMU always has a successful run in any of the Sun Belt Conference sports. Getting closer to the second half of action from here in Huntington. Again, a great crowd on hand as we are celebrating We Are Heard Strong Kick Out Cancer Day today, celebrating some cancer survivors pregame as well. We're going to step aside for a break. We'll be back with more Sun Belt women's soccer action. 1-0 Marshall with the lead right here in Huntington on ESPN+.
If itty-bitty value meals from other places could talk, they'd talk like this.
If Arby's $7 double meats meal could talk, it'd talk like me.
Arby's, we have the meats.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first.
Okay, let's get going. Can everybody see that?
Like, you know, to check your desktop first before sharing your screen.
Ah, that is not the, oh, no. I don't know how that got in there. No, that,
Yeah, checking first is smart.
okay, everybody get out.
So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
I'm Jordan Heidema, and soccer is just one part of my story. Jordan outside of soccer is a little bit different than Jordan in soccer. I have moments where I can be silly, I have moments where I can be serious, and you definitely get a sneak peek into who I am with what I wear. Off field, I mean, like street style, baggy stuff. I don't think there's like a gender in clothes. Whatever you feel confident in, go rock it. TJ Maxx. Maxx what makes you, you.
New projects means new project managers. You need to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/hire and get started today.
Suck a door. Ready? Come on. Here we go.
All right, we're done.
We're not done.
You need more boxes.
Fast.
I can fix that fast.
Fast fixes with Phelps.
That's why you're the goat.
Mr. Swimming.
Human dolphin.
Or Michael.
Delivery at the speed you need.
Ready for action, nip it in the bud, we never relaxing. Outcast and everlasting. But I know y'all wanted that 808. Can you feel that BASS thing?
Under my feet, I feel the sky, the moon and down.
Love the way you move. Introducing the all-new, reimagined Nissan Kicks.
Help people affected by Hurricanes Milton and Helene. Donate at redcross.org/ESPN to help the Red Cross respond and help people recover. Your donation enables the Red Cross to prepare for, respond to, and help people recover from this disaster, and will provide people and communities affected with water, emergency shelter, and relief supplies. Getting close to the second half of action between these two teams. And again, we talked about the contrasting styles we may see, but James, nonetheless, I don't necessarily know if we didn't expect highlights in the first half, but I think the back and forth, fast-paced action we have seen can be highlighted with everything that we've seen so far in this first half as well.
And again, it's the contrasting styles of the defenses setting the tone that then allow the offenses to make those runs. And again, Bailey Fisher has been uber patient with the ball, not at her feet very often, because Marshall has tried to build a lot from that right side. It's felt like that it's had opportunities. And then on the backside, Marshall getting that early goal has allowed it to really control the tempo, which immediately, one of the things I noticed was as soon as that happened, how quickly that App State started pushing up front with those two forwards.
Yeah, Marshall's really kind of worked the flanks. Both Alati Meto and Bailey Fisher has really been where Marshall's had its opportunities. Marshall seems to have a little bit of a speed advantage on those outside. It's almost Marshall likes working the flanks. App State likes working towards the middle, kind of getting it to the top of that 18-yard box, around the semi-oval there to create some opportunities for itself.
And you see a lot of teams, they like to build down the middle, work it to the outside, then bring it back in, and that's kind of what Marshall's doing. One of the things that we've seen a lot with App State is they've really worked to the outside and then tried to turn it back across the 6. And it's that contrasting styles of, because when they come across, you've got Wood coming down one flank, you've got Garrison coming down the backside, and they're just crashing, and you've got your two best feet that's on your team up there when Barboso has done a great job coming off this right edge.
5 shots apiece for both teams, and you kind of see it. It's been very evenly matched throughout this entire game thus far. Marshall obviously 8 fouls, both teams creating some opportunities with corner kicks and some offsides. Just, again, the aggressive play we've seen from both sides, creating some chances. As I'm just kind of off camera here. We're on the counting clock. We're 90 seconds from the counting clock starting the second half. You talk about aggression. Both teams are already ready to go.
They're ready to go. They're like, we don't need this other 90 seconds. Let's roll.
So both teams ready to go, and they're just the clock's continuing to wind.
And I think this first 10 minutes is going to see another
our officials
level.
are just now getting back on the.
They're like, you can get ready as go as you want. We're not coming out until our time's up. But I think this first 10 minutes for App State, you're going to see them to take that push to another level.
I don't think I've ever seen that where both teams are back out, coaching staffs are seated, and they're just waiting for the officials to come back out.
Craziest thing I can remember, and this was in high school football. So you get the 15-minute halftime period, and then you get a 3-minute acclimation period after that. The 3-minute acclimation period had expired, and the officials, no one got them out of the locker room. And so we're waiting for the game to start, and all of a sudden, both teams are like doing this. They're like, okay, where's the officials? Like, we thought we were just going to throw the ball out there and let them go.
Yeah, it's like you call your own penalties, right?
Exactly.
Second 45 minutes of action, big 45 minutes coming up for both sides. App State wants to stay unbeaten in Sun Belt Conference play. Marshall looking to get its second Sun Belt Conference victory of the season.
And one of the things I've noticed, too, in the first half with the way that both of these teams have played and the way that they've been able to control the pace, they're meeting the passes.
Barbosa chips it in and headed away by Ekstrom. The ball will roll across the far side. It'll be a throw now for App State.
And that's something that's huge, just being able to meet that pass, because allowing it to just wait until it gets there allows the defense to cut you off. Now you get an opportunity to get it and take it where you want it.
Ball sent in, out of the air, settled by Wood. Marshall collapses on her. She gets it back. Marshall again collapses. Barbosa far side chipped in. Marshall's got a player down. And I think that's Leah Mish. It is. That's the right leg. She's laying down again. She's got that right leg heavily wrapped. She went down towards the tail end of the first half.
Went knee on knee whenever she came out in the first half, and still holding that same heavily taped knee there on the right side.
Training staff and her teammates will gather around her. Just 50 seconds into the second half of action. Larissa Osorio came in towards the tail end of the first half to sub on for her. Got to imagine that's the same thing that's going to happen as you get a look at Osorio warming up near side. 5'3" sophomore from Brazil, transfer from Central Methodist University. She was a Heart of America first team all-conference selection last year. She had 8 assists, starting 16 games, as Mish is not going to be able to continue. They are going to sub her off.
Again, you can see her walking off the pitch with a lot of frustration and pain as she's hobbling toward the sideline on that Marshall end.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily catch if she made contact with anybody when she came off, but nonetheless, or when she went down, excuse me. And she will come out. And what you love to see, you've got a player like Alyssa Harden on the near side who's out for the year. She's nursing a torn ACL, but she is a senior. She doesn't have any eligibility left after this year. Every single match is still here, still participating, still leading from the sideline for a player who her playing days are over, and she's pretty much admitted that. But you love to see the leadership from a player that can't play for the rest of her career.
Yeah, it's the senior leadership, as you see immediately go straight to the trainer's table there, and certainly hope that she finds good news on the other side of this.
Ball bouncing around, and McComas will clear. Far side, Bailey Fisher tries to run it down, and she'll just shield away Gisa Sola that time. And it'll create a throw for the Thundering Herd with 43:40 to go in the match. It's an App State team, I talked about it, 0-2-1 when its opponent scores first in a match, 5-1-2 on the other side when it scores first. And Mountaineers have not lost since September 8th.
And on the other side, Mountaineers have never won here in Huntington. So it's an uphill battle for this team, but it's certainly one that can happen and happen quickly because of the way this offense has the ability to score.
Again, exact same situation last year. Marshall led 1-0 at the half down in Boone. For the Mountaineers, got 5 goals in the second 45 to pick up the win. That was Marshall's first game after losing Alexis Wolgamuth to the year to a broken leg. Bounce to the center. Marshall toying with it, turns it over. Now Wood tries to get an overlapping run, and it's won that time by Osorio, and she just pokes it out far side. And it creates a throw for the Mountaineers. Good defending by Larissa Osorio. Just if anything, you just want to slow down the passing for App State if you're Marshall. That's what Coach Haywood said. She said, look, we've got to be organized defensively, and we've got to connect first pass, second pass. Usually we can be productive if we do.
And more importantly is that if you're going to make App State beat you by passing the ball, make 4 to 5 passes to get it downfield, not 1 and 2, and then it's down in front of the 18.
There's pass 1. There's pass 2 that we kind of talked about. Mountaineers going on the attack. There's pass 3. This gets it down the near side for Kroboth. Kroboth going towards the inline. Kroboth turning on a defender, plays it all the way back now for Ambrosio. Ambrosio chips it in the air, and headed down by Marshall as the herd gets it to Meto, now to Kamori, up ahead Lecky. Marshall trying to go the other direction and can't do so, as Meto and Fisher have been so good in the first half. Marshall's kind of feeling it out right now here in the second half. Osorio tries to defend, and McComas tips it away for Marshall. Ball bouncing around, and now Fowler clears. Right now, App State controlling the pace thus far in the first 4 minutes of the second 45. Five shots for both sides, 3 on goal for App, 2 on goal for Marshall. Mountaineers back on the attack. Plays it here to the middle for Wood. Wood tries to turn, tries to create an opportunity, can't do so. Now Barbosa far side with it at her feet. Tries to cross, can't do so. Shannon Studer, top of the 18. Studer creates some open area, and it's knocked away, deflected by the Thundering Herd. App State bench thought it went off of a hand.
And I thought it did too. It looked like it caught around that same area, the hand-elbow area.
Mountaineers pressing against Marshall big time right now. Meto tries to press up, and will. Travasso's had it for a moment. Now Marshall will play within its triangle offensive set that it likes to do.
Doing a really good job of possessing in that triangle as well, making those sharp passes to the player that it needs to get to.
Marshall turns it over now, though. Ball played in, and there's your example of if it's got to be on the right foot, there's a reason. Meto loses it off her chest, though. Back to App. Kroboth. Marshall playing dangerously right now. Garrison, top of the 18. Studer plays far side. Barbosa. Great job by Barbosa to win it out of the air. Frantic pace to start the second half now. And it's poked away far side by Bailey Fisher. Creates a throw for the Mountaineers.
And the pace is being controlled by App State right now, but it's at the same time, it's kind of playing uncomfortable because we saw a great ball that was set up on a push down into the box for Wood. But like you said, wrong foot. Wood was going right, needed to go left, and didn't make the connection. It resulted in a turnover.
You can definitely see some of the changes made by this Appalachian State coaching staff at halftime, really pushing forward quite a bit. Now Ekstrom has the ball at her feet. In the middle to Lecky. Lecky on her right foot. Lecky drops it off, and now Wood's going to get to it for App State. Izzy Wood approaching towards goal, just trying to get somewhere. Osorio takes it away from her. Marshall takes it back.
And Marshall had her triangulated. There were 3 players within 3 feet of her on either side.
Ball chipped in by Barbosa. That time getting ahead on it. Trying to get a number. It looks like that time getting ahead was Olivia Simon. And it rolls past the far post as the Mountaineers really pressing this back line of Marshall.
And that's the second time in this game that a ball has rolled across the back post and no one was there crashing to push it through.
Talked about Alyssa Harden, as now she leads the We Are Marshall chant from the bench.
That's one thing you're always going to get, as we talked about the crowd here. It's always going to be lively.
Averages about 550 per game to this Marshall side. Tops within the Sun Belt on the women's side. Men's side second in the Sun Belt behind South Carolina, who gets nearly 5,000 a game, which is incredible. You see App State really 5 kind of in the attacking third right now, not letting Marshall get comfortable. Not letting Marshall play within the triangles that it's accustomed to doing so. Now back into the attacking third. App State's got numbers. Barbosa plays it up ahead, looking for Garrison, and Fowler clears. App State will have the throw now. Gisasola will throw it in. Flicks it around Fisher. Barbosa tried to create some opportunity, and ball popped into the air. Multiple players around. Now Kamori's going to win it. 5-1 Kamori just shielding off a defender. Not sure the 5-1 Kamori has boxed out many people. Fisher far side, cuts inside a defender, does Bailey Fisher. Overlapping run for Kamori, tries to get around. Can't do so, now leaves it on for Travasos. Marshall's real first offensive attack here in the second half. Osorio's open right in the middle. If the Herd can get it to her, can't quite get it there. Now Towns possesses far side, streaking down the far side, crosses it in, right to the foot of an Appalachian State player. That's Hayden Petrick, who came on to start the second half, and now the Herd creates a corner kick. 5th corner of the match for Marshall.
And with Mish out, it'll be questionable who's going to take this kick now.
Well, your answer is Ami Kamori. She took the short corner earlier when Mish laid it off to her. Official stops the clock. Marshall gamesmanship, per usual. Just taking some time to get to the corner. Kamori sends it in, high in the air. Punched away again by Womack. And turning on it was McComas just inside the 18. And sending it wide of frame. And that creates a goal kick for the Mountaineers.
Something I really love that Womack does is she's very aggressive the way she attacks, but she goes up in traffic. And again, as a goalie, you're taught, if you're in traffic, don't try to put the mitts to it. Just go up and punch that thing away. Get it out of the box so that it can't be turned loose.
We were talking about it pregame as Kamori turns on a defender, plays it in for Lecky, just a touch too far as Lecky hops over Womack that time. Just a little bit too far that time for Ebony Lecky as Womack will send it away. One thing we were talking about pregame, the size of Womack's mitts are rather incredible. As a free kick is now created for App State. Lecky's still down behind the play inside the 18.
And she was the one tangled up with Womack when Womack came off of her line. Now the official will come out.
Just trying to stretch out that left leg, it appears. Telling the training staff no need. As Womack stretches out, not Womack, Lecky stretches out that leg. She will run back in her position.
Womack very aggressive coming off her line that time. And again, I think when you look at it as a goalkeeper, you look up and you've got a 1v1 coming right at you. You have to make a split decision. And so far, Womack has been super aggressive, coming off of her line, meeting the point of contact. And we've seen several balls that have been turned away because of her aggressive nature.
App State on the free kick sends it in. Garrison tried to flick it on, and Fowler collides that time with Garrison, and a foul is going to be called on Angel Fowler. Another free kick set up now for the Mountaineers. Take a look. Fowler kind of collided into Garrison. Looked to be a little bit after the play that time, but nonetheless, free kick set up for the Mountaineers.
And on the backside of that foul negated what was going to be considered a handball because that ball deflected up and caught the elbow. Now this is almost the same distance that App State had on the opposite end when they deked with the fake and then allowed Wood to take the second swing.
It'll be Garrison and Wood that will at least be the threats. Wood steps over, Garrison approaches off the face of a Marshall player on the wall. Now Fisher steps up on Garrison. Garrison crosses in and deflected away. Multiple heads that time, multiple feet. And now Wolgamuth collects and just says, hey, calm down.
Great job there by the wall for Marshall to turn that one away. And then immediately, as soon as Garrison collects and turns it right, starts filling those gaps, not allowing Wood to find that ball inside when they cross it in. Marshall's defense, stellar so far.
Wolgemuth, a left-footed boot, sends it away. Madison Towns, good defending all the way up from her left back spot, approaching the midfield stripe. And now Kamori pokes it away. Great defending by Marshall. Great defending by App State. Gisasola took it away from Fisher as she tried to get around her. And it creates a Mountaineer throw-in far side with about 33 minutes to play. Talking about the Sunbelt East side, and we talked about it a little bit earlier. But again, in talking with Coach Haywood for Appalachian State, I asked her, I said, what do you think of the east side of this league? And you've heard this line before. She said, and I quote, "It's really stinking good." She said, it's tough. There's no gimme games. You've got to have your best lineup every night. You can't just go out and rest people. You've got to have your A game every single night, night in and night out. Because if you let up, you're going to come away with no points. And this is a side of the division. She said the east side, she said, you just want to make the conference tournament. If you can make it, she said, I pretty much think every single team on the east side has a chance to win it.
And you look at the rest of their schedule, like you pointed out, moving forward, James Madison, which is the top of the East Division. Then you look at Old Dominion. That's what they close out the season with. Mixed in there with Arkansas State, Troy, and Texas State. Texas State in the top of the West Division. So 3 of the last 5 matches they're going to play are teams that are at the top or just at the top of each of the side of the conference. So obviously the most difficult part of App State's schedule yet to come. And you have to wonder is how much did that prepare them from the non-conference play that they had leading into conference action?
Katie Porter came on a moment ago for Elati Meto from Marshall. Now the Mountaineers go on the attack, tried to just go towards the box. Thundering Herd tries to clear, can't do so. And now the Mountaineers working to the far side, Barbosa, but too heavy of a touch that time by the Mountaineers. But nonetheless, you see App State really pushing players forward right now. Barbosa to the far side. Gisasola sends it in, and ball goes past quite a few feet. And Simon will run it down before it's played out. Ambrosio chips it in off the head of Travasos. Katie Porter wins it. Porter, kind of a really aggressive player for Marshall. She gets the round of applause from the Marshall fans in attendance.
And that's one of those plays there that fans wanting the foul, but it was, again, you had to wait and make certain it didn't stop the advantage. Once the advantage was stopped because of the foul, then the foul comes back. And it's something about this only sport that you'll have a delayed foul that where if it slows an advantage, then it will keep playing.
Free kick now for Marshall as Brooklyn McComas will take it. McComas sends it towards the 18, headed out of the air by Snowden. Ball headed up into the air. Marshall just trying to get possession. Actually, both teams just trying to garner possession after multiple headers.
And you'll see a lot of times in a play like that where an official will point and say play on, and it's telling them that you have the advantage. Don't worry about the foul. We can come back to that if we need to. And that was this situation right there. Was Marshall still had an opportunity to get the run, and you don't want to stop that because it negates that opportunity they've set up.
And it goes against everything human nature-wise of, hey, I did something wrong, but I'm going to keep going, as opposed to I did something wrong, stop.
And as a fan, you see something that happens in every other sport, a foul immediately stops play. It does not do that in the game of soccer.
Travasos, individual opportunity, sends a shot on net, just over the net that time as Womack was right there in defense. But nonetheless, Marshall now starting to push forward just a touch. The Herd would surely love a second goal just to make itself feel a little bit more comfortable.
And Marshall able to go long distance with the wind, aided here in the second half with that stiff wind blowing down the field.
Under a half hour to go here in Huntington. And this is what you and I kind of talked about pregame, is Marshall learning to win. You talked about that 3-1 match, is what the advantage was for the Thunder Herd against Southern Miss a couple days ago. End up in a 3-3 draw. I think you talk to any coach that you've got to learn to win. You've got to learn to close those out. Marshall trying the same thing today.
And you hear a lot of people talk about learning to win, and it's like, what does that mean? It's you have to understand how to close out a match. You do everything right for 80 minutes, and then you fall asleep one spot in the final 10, and then all of a sudden you're on the wrong side of the scoreboard. And it's understanding that mental focus, being able to attain everything that you've practiced going into that contest and finishing it out.
Marshall getting pressured along the back as Fowler gets run into by Barbosa and hits the deck. Hurd's got to be careful. Had just played the ball all the way back to the feet of Wolgemuth. Fowler was charging in on her as well. You take a look. Barbosa crashing into Fowler from behind that time.
Only the third foul on App State. Marshall with 10.
Thundering Herd, one of the more prominent foul teams throughout the entire Sun Belt.
I think it leads to the aggressive nature that they play to on the defensive side as well.
Kind of talked about this is a Marshall side. It's only scored 11 goals this year, but it's only given up 16 as well. Katie Porter trying to run it down before it goes out and can't get there. Good run by the sophomore from Tampa, trying to create an opportunity for the Thundering Herd. Ball popped high into the air. Lecky tries to bring it down, now to Fisher. Now back for Osorio. Back to Osorio, little two-man game. Osorio tried to create an opportunity, couldn't do so. Now Porter on the ball. Porter back for Travasos. Ball chipped in, looking for Kamori. Osorio still down. And now a foul will be called in the middle of the pitch. Rafa Samoys having a conversation with our near side official, our fourth official. As you look, Travasos goes into the air that time against Garrison. Garrison went down. That's what drew the foul call. Official, 27:20 to go, is asking to have a conversation with Katie Porter. Katie Porter's a player, if you got the chance to watch that Southern Miss match, does not put up with much.
I think they were looking for the foul on the other end. Nothing given, and then kind of the same type of thing to where it immediately gave App State an opportunity to make a run.
Ball sent up ahead, bouncing ball. Wood gets some pressure from Ekstrom. And really, Kaisa Ekstrom against Izzy Wood has been really, really good today. Ball played up ahead. Porter running, trying to get to it before Sydney Snowden does, but it's going to roll out across the inline. But you see some of the speed there from Katie Porter as the Herd trying to create another opportunity for itself.
Marshall doing a great job there, controlling the ball with the head, turning it down at feet, and it's something that's so difficult to do, but doing it with pure precision on that run.
Sarah Witterich will come back on. She'll come on for Katan Kroboth. Kroboth didn't get a chance to talk about it during the match. Did not play high school soccer, only played 10-month club soccer. Ami Kamori plays it in for Lecky. Flag goes up, and Lecky got called offside.
I love the play right there. Was so patient, letting Lecky come near side. And as a forward, it's so hard to do when you see that opening because the defense collapses toward the middle, and you're trying to stay on, but you know you've got to go because if that ball's there, you've got a perfect shot to that left corner. So close there of Marshall executing. A beautiful execution, though, to get it to that point.
Amy Haywood up off of her bench that time. The former keeper, frustrated with her back line, Alicio Ambrosio. She was not thrilled with her ability to defend on the near side. Lecky plays it off of Snowden, and it creates a throw now for the Herd. As the official stops the clock, it caught the face that time of Snowden. He just wanted to check on her. Snowden, freshman from Chandler, Arizona. All district, all region. 3-year starter on her high school team. Ball played off Ambrosio. Another throw now for Marshall.
Fisher trying to feed it down into the corner to get the crosser.
John Sutherland kind of doubling as a ball boy with the Marshall Big Green. Ball tries to be cleared by App, and it bounces off of Fisher right into the hands of Womack. Womack and Lecky collide as Lecky inside the 18. I think she's got to give some room.
She's matching her step for step.
Ball rolled out by Sarah Womack. Amy Haywood continuing to have a conversation with our fourth official near side. Katie Porter now center of the pitch. Plays it up ahead for Komori, and Womack will play it off of her feet and pick it up. And Sydney Snowden now going to try and just play a little plant a pick, on Lecky and not allow her to get anywhere close to Womack. And now a foul's going to be called on Marshall. I think the intensity and the physicality is going to pick up in about the last 24-20.
Yeah, the foul totals will go. I got a feeling that we have not seen our first of what is going to be many yellow cards to follow.
16 fouls in the match, 12 on Marshall, 4 on Appalachian State, as Mountaineers have a free kick now with 24:05 to go, and the Herd leading 1-0.
I was looking down on the sideline on that last play. One of the App State coaches just pointing, saying, we got to go.
Ball punched in the air. It's an open frame. Barbosa puts it back in towards the 6. And App State has it still at its own feet. Ball into Garrison. Garrison going towards the in line, deflects off of Fowler and creates a corner. Angel Fowler saying the ball was already out before I think Garrison was able to try and attempt the cross.
And Garrison was trying to take every square inch of the field that she could get to find that slither of an opening to turn it back across the 6.
Mountaineers will now go to the corner. Sarah Witterich will take it. 5th corner of the match now for the Mountaineers. Ball sent in high in the air. Snowden heads it down. And now it's going to be played all the way back by Appalachian State. Ball sent in off of an App State player. Goal kick now for the Herd. The Marshall back line has been really good today thus far. Appalachian State had the one real dangerous opportunity in the first 45 where Alexis Wolgemuth made a terrific save, throwing her left hand out and deflecting the ball away. And that's been the most dangerous opportunity thus far for the Mountaineers.
And one of the things I was watching very closely there on that corner, who did Marshall mark up Izzy Wood with for defensive pressure? It was Bailey Fisher. You look at Fisher, 5'6", Izzy Wood, 5'7".
Very similar body types, very similar just kind of the frame and just the style in which they play with as well.
And they offer the same style of speed. And that's one of the things that Fisher does is she can match Wood's steps, step for step, and she's never allowing her to get that opening inside the 18 to be able to make a line at the frame.
Marshall tries to clear, goes off an App State boot and out far side. Creates a throw for the Herd. Madison Towns will take it as we tick under 22 minutes to play. Up ahead for Ebony Lecky. And it went off of Lecky and out far side. Actually, I don't even know if Lecky made contact with it as much as the ball rolled out far side. We hear the We Are Marshall chant here in Huntington. Ball thrown in. Travasos steps in front. Marshall trying to win it back, and Osorio steps up and just clears it. Good job by Larissa Osorio that time. Just her 8th match of the year. And clearing it away for the Thundering Herd. This is a Marshall team that does not want to lose at home. And see Shannon Studer creative with the ball. Watching that Coastal Carolina match the other day, Studer very, very good in terms of creating space. Olivia Simon, 3 goals last year against Marshall. Plays it into the box for Witterich. Witterich tries to cross, deflected away by Ekstrom, and it creates another corner for the Mountaineers.
I think Marshall can continue to play as it's been doing for this next 10. And then after that, anytime it doesn't have numbers up front, just clear it. Send it as far down the field as you possibly can. Force App State to have to build all the way back down the field.
Mountaineers have been knocking for this entire second half right on goal. Just not able to put one in the back yet. Shannon Studer will take the corner kick for the Mountaineers. Ball sent in high in the air, knocked down out of the air that time, and the Mountaineers get the goal. Appalachian State will equalize as Mumu Jiki Sasola will get her first goal of the year for App State and tie it up at 1 with 20:15 to go in the match.
This was a nice little pick play that they set to roll her through, and she came unabated to the goal. A nice set piece there by the Mountaineers.
20:15 to go. We had just said they were knocking right on the door, and the beautiful corner from Studer to the middle to Mumu Gisasola allows App to find the equalizer, bouncing right between Towns and Wolgemuth that time. Under 20 minutes to play. Marshall a little shell-shocked right this second. So now the Thundering Herd's got to go back on the attack.
And this is where it's difficult for Marshall because you've been just packing and trying to control the action, and now you've got to ratchet things up.
Porter charging in towards Womack that time, trying to create a chance. Can't do so. And now the Herd will try and build from the back. Now stylistically, we've seen what App State has been doing. How do the Mountaineers change now?
I think if you're App State, you do exactly what you've been doing the last 25 minutes. You continue to push because that aggressive nature is what got App State right back in this ballgame.
Ball played all the way back to Wolgemuth, and she'll play it into the box and pick it up. 19 minutes to go in the match. 1-1 is our count. Ball all the way back to Wolgemuth. Wolgemuth's got to get rid of it. Wolgemuth just gets it rid of it near side to Ekstrom. Marshall's got to be careful. Wolgemuth had players bearing down on her from in front and behind.
And that's the first time that App State has shown a double push toward Wolgemuth when she's had it at the box.
Komori gets it up near side to Porter. Porter trying to go around a defender, I think. Did she play it off? She did. What a play by Porter, playing it off of Ambrosio, creating a corner kick attempt for Marshall, number 6.
This is where you've got to get a ball clearly down inside the box and give 3 options of looking front post, middle, and back post an opportunity to push this one through.
This is where the absence of Leah Mish kind of hurts a little bit, but Ami Komori will take the corner for the Herd. Komori sends a low line driving in, punched away by Womack. Ball bouncing in towards the midfield, and Osorio will get it for the Herd. Ball played in, sent away. Osorio wins it back. Osorio chips it in, and a bouncing ball right into the hands of Womack. 17:40 to go in the match. Marshall's going to drop some players back in defense now until it sees exactly what App State's going to do. Mountaineers on the attack. Izzy Wood has it far side, has it taken away. Marshall in the center pitch for Travasso. She's got plenty of area. Tries to lay it off for Komori, and Marshall turns it over. It's kind of what Amy Haywood was talking about, as like a double turnover. Once you get possession, you give it right back.
Well, and Marshall had an opportunity there to play it out wide and decided to go back inside in a kind of a sloppy pass that allowed the defense for App State to close out.
Marshall right in the center of the pitch for Porter. Herd can go the other direction. Just got to find some green grass.
And this goes back to the conversation we were having about 5-6 minutes ago. Marshall having to learn how to win. Again, can it make that step here, find that equalizer, and get back on top here in this 1-1 matchup?
16:40 to go. As you kind of get an idea of how windy it is, you see a straight plastic bag.
Looks like tumbleweed.
Blowing across the pitch.
And we saw earlier on a free kick, the ball was sitting on the pitch and was tumbling. They had to wait and stop it because of the ball was moving.
Behind the play, Larissa Osorio is down for the Herd. She had come on for Leah Mish. She tried to stand back up there. Now the training staff, Hannah Edge, will come out and have a look at Osorio. And you can see, again, the wind just whipping around the hair of Osorio as well. As with 16.5 to go, they'll stop the clock. Both sides will come near side for a little water. Riley McKinney looks as if she will this time come on. Osorio and McKinney, both 5'3", so apologize for my confusion earlier when I thought it was McKinney that came on. It was actually Osorio. Some scores from around the Sun Belt real quick. James Madison, it was scoreless early between James Madison and Georgia Southern, but since then, this is the women's side. The Dukes have a 3-1 advantage on Georgia Southern. Texas State up 1-0 on ULM. Southern Miss and Arkansas State still scoreless down in Jonesboro. 4 o'clock, Old Dominion and Georgia State. 7 o'clock, Louisiana and Coastal Carolina. And 7 o'clock, Troy and South Alabama this evening. Marshall men's soccer team in action tonight. 5 o'clock down in Orlando to take on UCF. Of course, that game postponed, a couple days after the hurricane that came through in the last few days. Bailey Fisher with it far side for the Herd. Fisher kind of cornered by App State. And the Mountaineers do a good job or thought they played it off of Towns, but instead it'll be a Marshall throw in and a Marshall substitution as Elodie Mateau and Maria Chavez will come on. Mateau will come on for Lecky. Chavez will come on for Angel Fowler. Under 16 minutes to play in Huntington. Marshall gets a first half goal from Kaisa Ekstrom. Appalachian State gets a second half goal from Mumu Gisasola. Both teams getting goals coming off of heads. Excuse me, actually the Marshall goal came off of a corner. So Kaisa Ekstrom's came off for foot. So we'll say both goals came off corner kicks.
Yeah.
Mountaineer throw in, Izzy Wood. It's a really good idea. Tries to chest the ball down and turn at the same time, but couldn't keep possession. Ball in the air. Simon just trying to get there. Now Witterich into the center for App State. Left foot shot clanks off the post. Off the right post as a beautiful run that time was being made forward by the Mountaineers. Played it to the top of the 18, and the Mountaineers just couldn't quite put it on frame. Really no chance for Wolgemuth to even have a chance to save it, but Garrison just a touch wide.
Perfect touch to sit that out top of the 18 and allow the crasher to come down unabated to the goal, and just had that little bend because that ball was rolling and created that turn. Needed to kind of start that maybe middle third, and it would hook it right in the top corner, but draws iron, and Marshall maintains the tie for the moment.
Meto in the center for the Thundering Herd, just trying to get possession is Meto. Meto contending for the ball, and Marshall really being pressured quite a bit. And, you know, I kind of wondered aloud, what would Marshall or what would Appalachian State do after finding that equalizer? And you're dead on, James. The Mountaineers have not ratcheted back its pressure at all, continued to really press high on this Marshall back.
Yeah, trying to push forward, really staying up high. Meeting every ball at the point of contact, trying to keep everything moving and keeping it moving at a very frantic pace.
Gisasola far side will have the throw, the goal scorer for App State. Again, her first goal of the year. Ball off App State now to create a Marshall goal kick.
And I think forcing Marshall into playing at a little bit more of a frantic pace certainly favors App State in the way they want to see this game go. And, you know, the two players that we pointed out coming into the game that we expected to be kind of the deciding factors in this game with Fisher and Wood on both sides, both have been kind of semi-quiet. I mean, we've seen Wood with shots on goal down inside, but for the most part, both teams defensively have kept those at bay.
Yeah, perhaps surprisingly for Marshall today, just one shot on goal for Bailey Fisher. Flag goes up on the Mountaineers for an offside.
And try to play it out to Wood, and Wood just offside very quickly as Marshall step 2.
10 shots today for Appalachian State, 4 on goal, 7 shots, 2 on goal for the Herd. 16 fouls in the match. We've kind of slowed down on the physicality. There's actually, as I say that, had to say it. Riley McKinney gets called for the foul, 13th on Marshall. We've kind of slowed down just a little bit on the physicality after that equalizer. We saw some contention there for a couple minutes between both sides.
And you look at Marshall, only 2 shots on goal, and the The main reason of that is because after Marshall got that lead, it just really went on the defense and just tried to play keep away while possessing the ball very effectively in its attacking third.
Witterich right in the center of the pitch, and a foul is called on Marshall again, number 14. And now Mateau backed the ball up and gets a yellow.
Again, that is not a very wise decision in this moment of the game, touching the ball any point of a form of a free kick, because again, it creates a delay of game and immediately issues a card.
So Mateau picks up the yellow.
So a 4-person wall this time for Marshall. It's gone with 5 when the ball was a little bit closer to the top of the 18.
So Mateau's 3rd yellow in 7 matches for Marshall. Garrison steps over, Wood approaches, Wood sends the shot and just wide right.
Really took dead aim at that right corner, and just maybe the wind making a little difference on that attack, just could not bend it in the upright, but another good opportunity there. You can tell that is a set piece that this App State team really develops. They like usually that second player through to take the swipe. I've only seen him take a swipe on it one time without that run, but both times plenty of leg there to go on frame.
Katan Kroboth will come on for Appalachian State. 12:07 to go. Chavez tries to find anybody far side. I think Fisher and Towns looking at one another too. Just wondering where that was supposed to be. Now Ekstrom shoulder to shoulder with Wood. And Ekstrom just able to shield Wood away just for a second to allow Wolgemuth to come off her line and pick it up.
Really good job by the Wolgemuth to be aggressive to that ball there, meeting it at the point of contact.
Towns far side now for Marshall. Madison Towns gets tripped up as Gisa Sola was able to take it away from her. Is it a throw or is it a free kick? Towns is down. You can see her kind of holding that right leg. She missed the majority of last season with an injury as well. You just hope that it's not the same leg. Again, very physical match. As you see far side, Gisa Sola stuck the leg in there, and I think knee to knee is what it looked like to me again.
Almost the same thing that we saw with Mish back in the first half. Just a straight knee on knee contact there. She continues to stay down on the turf.
Towns down on the far side. It will be a throw for Marshall with 11:16 to play. Madison Towns, one of the leaders of this team. She was captain of her high school team. She was one of the captains on this team last year. Just a junior from Aldie, Virginia. Making her 11th start in 12 matches. And she's back up onto her feet. Stretching out the leg on the far side. She will have to be subbed out as the training staff kind of gives a quick indication as well. And it'll be Fernanda Dantas that'll come on for Marshall. And Dantas, kind of along the lines of what this game has developed into, also sporting a cast on her right hand. Just a beautiful day in Huntington, as you can see, but we've talked about the wind. 13-mile-an-hour wind, I guess 10 to 15. It's about as accurate.
Meteorologically speaking, that's technical.
Yeah. Really, mostly sunny is what we've got, but I'll tell you what, we'll go mostly. That's fine. 95% sunny is what I'll go with. I don't know if that could really be gauged, by the way. So Dantas and Chavez will come in. And right now, they'll be represented the Marshall center backs because Ekstrom moves up. So it's not a throw. It's a free kick for Marshall. Into the box and headed away. Ekstrom had run into the box for the herd as Meto whiffs on a couple swings at the ball with a foot. Now tries to play near side for McComas, and Marshall loses it out. And it's a throw in now for the Thundering Herd. Meto just wanted to get a strike on that one and just wasn't able to do so in 2 attempts. Another Throw now for Marshall near side. McComas with 10:45 to go. Ball thrown in. Fisher crosses it in for Kamori and tipped up by Womack, and then a second save by Womack. Kamori had a shot and just a tremendous save by Womack. A double tap keeps this game level at 1.
The second tap was phenomenal as she bent backward to turn and bring that one in.
So the official's actually going to have a look at it. So if you look, and we'll take another look right here on the goal cam, tipped up and the ball just rotating backwards and diving backwards is Womack to knock it out again. You can't really tell on that angle.
The question is, did it break the plane?
Correct. Did it break the plane of the line? Just a tremendous job. And to be honest, a tremendous job by Kamori to put a shot on frame.
Yes.
And then a tremendous job by Womack as well to deflect it away. Just a really, really good job. Good job by Fisher, first of all, to play it in. So there's Kamori, tips it, does Womack, and does that ball get behind that line at all? Is the question.
And looking at the shadow, you see the shadow over top that white line.
And I think our official just trying to see what looks he has. Get all these looks. Just a great job by Kamori, first of all, to just get a boot on to get a chance. And then diving backwards was Womack that time and throwing it away. We talked about the size of the mitts. That's helpful there.
100%.
The size of the mitts that she has and just deflecting that ball clearly
the fact
away.
That she was able to go up, get the mitts on it, and then bending backward, turn and still go and swipe it away. The know-how and the just the withiness of being able to do that was phenomenal at its best.
When they talk about sometimes what do they call it? The athleticism has to be displayed in basketball, and the second jump for a rebound at times. The second jump athleticism there was pretty impressive. And it's just a throw in. The official says, play on.
And I think that's one of those situations to where you didn't have video evidence to overturn the call on the field.
Far side bouncing ball. And now right back to the feet of Kamori. Kamori really playing with confidence after a goal last match. Ball played ahead for Wood, and Wood runs it down far side. Now she gets around a defender and has to be sent out by Marshall, creating the corner kick opportunity now for the Mountaineers. 7th corner kick of the day for Appalachian State.
Strap in for this final 9 minutes. It's about to get bumpy.
Mountaineers get set on the far side. Barbosa will take the corner. Arm goes up, arm comes down, sends it in high in the air, headed out of the air by Wood, bouncing around, and flag goes up for offside as a Mountaineer had gotten behind the last line of the Marshall defense.
And that corner kick, that's one of those, because you're playing with that wind, you can bend that ball starting it out of bounds and bring it back over top of the box, and that's exactly what they were trying to do, to where it makes it very difficult for that back line to kind of play to see what's coming there.
Ekstrom up ahead, 2 Marshall players in the same vicinity. A little bit of miscommunication by Mateau and Porter. And now the Herd just tries to get it back, and Porter does. Porter down the near side, sends it into the middle for McKinney. Mistouch by App State. Now Marshall gets it back. Kamori's got a chance. Kamori left foot strike. Great defending, Gisa Sola. Kamori, another strike just over the net.
Wow.
Katie Porter created an opportunity just with an individual effort. And then Ami Kamori had 1 chance, 2 chance. Gisa Sola, great defending. And just a really good job by a couple individual efforts for Marshall on the counterattack after that corner.
And I love the touch to settle just enough so that she gets exactly the touch that she wanted on frame.
Goal kick far side. Goes out with under 8 minutes to play. Both of these teams gave up goals in the final 5 minutes of their last match a couple days ago in order to have draws. I guess you could say fall victim to a draw more than anything. Ball played to the middle for Ekstrom. Ekstrom up ahead, looking for McComas, too heavy. She can't quite get there in time. And it'll create a throw now for Appalachian State with 7.5 minutes to go in the match.
Missed a great opportunity there. It was set up perfectly to play that ball into the right corner and just way too heavy, as you mentioned, to not give our player a chance to cross that back.
Now Appalachian State coming the other direction. Kroboth right in the middle for Garrison. Garrison rolls it back, plays it up ahead. Simon streaking towards net. Cuts inside of Ekstrom, puts a shot on, and it bounces into the arms of Wolgemuth.
Nice move there by Simon to go left to right and find an opening to drive that one to the net.
Well, what's I think if you're smart, if you're Ekstrom there, is you're playing the left side. So if you take the left shot towards the left, you're going to deflect it, and Wolgemuth only has to defend one side of the net at that point. Ball saved in far side by the Mountaineers. Chipped in, and McComas has it deflect off of her head. Be run down by Simon. Simon into the 18, turned back by Marshall, excuse me. McKinney just going to take on a couple defenders, played up for McComas. McComas and Kroboth crash into one another. And you can kind of see a little bit what's happened for this communication, kind of the crispness at times. Leah Mish not in there, kind of what she was able to add to that back line for Marshall, playing the position where McKinney's trying to play right now.
Yeah, you're seeing balls that's just not getting to the point of where he typically was getting when Mish was out there.
Bouncing ball around. Garrison tries to run it down, and now the Mountaineers will play it all the way back for Gisa Sola, the goal scorer. Far side, poked away by that's Dantas far side. Into the back of Mateau comes Gisa Sola. And a foul will be called.
That's a yellow card as well
on the senior from Miami as the yellow does come out. Foul number 19 of the match. Garrison and Gisa Sola with yellows on the App State side. Mateau with one on the Marshall side. Ball in the air. Barbosa trying to win it. Keeps it in. As now Marshall gets it to the feet of Komori.
I think this is a match where Marshall has to look at this last 5 minutes and say, we're going to have to take some chances here and go with this. This is a game that Marshall needs to find a way to get a win. Those 3 points are going to be uber critical of trying to find that 7th, 8th spot to get into the conference tournament.
Womack clears it on the goal kick. Both teams just trying to garner possession, as that time another yellow does come out. As that was Izzy Wood that picks up the yellow.
What was it I said about yellow cards about 5 minutes ago?
Collision with Riley McKinney.
Catches her with an elbow as she flies through.
Third yellow of the match for Appalachian State. As that creates a free kick chance now for Marshall. 5:04 to go in the match. Tied at 1. Marshall first half goal from Kaisa Ekstrom. Second half goal for Appalachian State from Mumu Gisa Sola. And there the ball goes again, rolling. As a result,